Hello, welcome to this tutorial on how to make a loading screen in Roblox. So, basically, a loading screen will appear on the player's screen until the game is loaded. Then it's gonna disappear. So, yeah. First you're gonna need to make a screen GUI in Starter GUI. And now you're gonna design your loading screen. But first, make sure to go into the screen GUI and make sure ignore GUI Inset is on. Let me show you what this does. If I have something like if I have a frame and I test the game, it should cover my whole screen. But then you can see that right here there's still a little bit of space where you can see everything. So what ignore GUI Inset does, it removes that bar and it ignores that inset. So go into your screen GUI and turn on ignore GUI Inset. This is in the properties, by the way. So if you don't have properties and the Explorer open, go into the View tab and make sure that the properties in Explorer are open. So now you're gonna design your loading screen. Make sure to name everything. I'll call this background. I'll make it black. Inside of this, I'm going to have a bar that goes from side to side. I'll quickly just make that. Also, if you're ever designing stuff with GUIs, make sure you don't like drag the stuff around like this, because that's gonna change the position by pixels, and of course it's gonna work for your computer. It's gonna be normal, but let's say I have a frame that's like that I dragged it out. I made it however much I want it to be, and then I centered it and stuff. But then if I'm on a computer with a smaller screen or a bigger screen or any screen that's a different size than yours, it's gonna be offset. It's gonna be very different. So if I go into the emulator here, right here, you can see basically this is visualizing what it will be like if you're on a phone. As you can see, the frame is way off. It's like way bigger than it used to be, and it's in the wrong position. But on your screen it's normal, and on other devices it's very weird. So to fix this, don't drag it around, and go into the properties, and basically you will see that any GUI has an X value and a Y value, and each of those has a scale and an offset. And actually they made it so that when you drag it, it changes the scale instead of the offset. But anyways, make sure to use the scale instead of the offset. Offset is basically moving it by pixels. If I wanna move it like 100 pixels to the right, I'll put offset to 100. And then like 500 pixels, we'll make it in the center, about in the center. But for each different device, the screen resolution and everything else is different. So when using scale, you don't basically move everything by pixels. You move it proportional to the screen of any user. Basically, if I use scale instead of offset, it'll be the same for your screen and for any other mobile screen. So how you would use it, it's scale is basically, instead of pixels, it's measured in percents. So if I want to move this frame right here to half of my screen, half of my screen is 50%, and it's not like, scale isn't like 50, 100%, it's that divided by 100. Yeah, so if you want it to be at 50% instead of 50, divide it by 100, so it's going to become 0.5, and there, it moved itself to exactly half of my screen. So yeah, scale is measured in decimals, I mean percents, but you type it as a decimal because it's divided by 100. Anyways, yeah, but you can actually drag GUIs around, because I noticed that they changed the scale instead of the offset. Alright, so that out of the way, I'm gonna continue designing my loading screen. So I have this bar here, I'm gonna make it white, and inside of this, I'm gonna have a blue bar thing that's gonna go from side to side. Let's make this light blue, and then I'll since I put this frame over here, I put it inside of this bar. So now if I make its Y value for the size, if I make Y 100% scale, it's going to be 100% of the Y value of this bar. I don't know if I'm clear, but like, yeah, whatever. And I'll make it like 0.3, so 30% of the bar, like that. And this bar is going to be moving from side to side. And I'll also have a text label that's going to say loading. And it's gonna like have a little animation. If you saw my building a PC game series, I'm basically trying to make the same loading screen I made there. I'll quickly design this and place this text label. Okay, I'll make the text loading basically it's gonna go from loading. This is how the animation is gonna go. It's gonna go dot, and then dot, and then another dot, like that, and it's gonna keep doing that. Okay, so we designed the loading screen, and so basically how Starter GUI works is it gets everything inside of Starter GUI, and whenever a new player joins, it's gonna copy everything from Starter GUI to that player's player GUI. But it's gonna do so right after everything's loaded. But of course, a loading screen is there before everything is loaded. So to make this screen GUI appear before the everything is loaded, put this into replicated first. Now you can't see it now because replicated first is not for GUIs, it's for other stuff. And basically it's gonna move this screen GUI into the player, not into the player GUI, but like the player object. Okay, now we need a script, a local script. The difference between a script and a local script is that local scripts can only run when they're inside of a player. They can't run when they're inside of the workspace or inside of ServerScript servers. That's because everything in workspace and ServerScript service is on the server. To understand this, you should probably learn about clients and servers and how they work. Basically, local scripts only run when they're inside of the player. Okay, so name this local script loading screen and put the screen GUI inside of the loading screen. Now we're going to script it. So to make the animations, we're gonna need the tween service. So local tween equals tween get service tween service. Yeah, that's all we need for the services. Now let's make some variables for our convenience. So local screen GUI equals script wait for child screen GUI. The reason we're doing wait for child is because it needs to wait for the screen GUI to load in, or else it's gonna give an error and it's gonna say that screen GUI doesn't exist. Yeah. We're gonna make a variable to the blue bar thing and the text length. So local blue bar equals to screen GUI wait for child background wait for child bar wait for child blue bar. Basically what this does is it's telling, I don't know if you can see my Explorer that well, but over here where this is, basically we're making a variable, and that variable, like in math, for example, there's a variable called x and it can be equal to some number. Well, this variable screen GUI is equal to a script, so the script that we're typing in, so this local script, and then dot means inside of that script, or in this case we're waiting for child. That means it's gonna wait for something inside of that script. So it's waiting for this thing called screen GUI, which is this. And then we're making a pointer to the blue bar. So we're saying go inside of background and look inside of bar and look for blue bar. And yeah, we're currently making all of the pointers to the things we are gonna animate. So yeah, next we need a pointer for the text. So local text label text label equals to screen GUI wait for child background wait for child text. Okay, we got the pointers to the animated objects that we're gonna animate. So yeah, this script is gonna run as soon as the player joins, even before everything loads in. But as I told you, if we run the game right now, the loading screen isn't going to appear, because for the player to see GUI objects, the GUI objects need to be inside of the player GUI. There's this guy. Anyways, it's inside of if we go inside of player, and then player inside of my player, and you can see there's a bunch of stuff. And there's the player GUI. As you can see, for the thing for the GUIs to appear, it needs to be in starter GUI or in player GUI. For some reason, I actually don't know where things in replicated first go. Maybe it goes inside of the character. If we look for screen GUI. Oh, okay. So, it doesn't replicated storage doesn't move anything from the replicated storage to the player. It actually stores it inside of replicated first. What am I saying? Replicated first. Everything in replicated first stays inside of replicated first, but the player can actually access it through local scripts. Yeah. So for the as I told you, for the loading screen to appear, we need to move the whole screen GUI into the player's player GUI. Okay, now since we're using a local script, we have the ability to use local player. So local player equals game.player.local player. I think it's better to do game get service players. I don't know. Anyways, here we got the local player. And now we're gonna do screen GUI dot parent equals player wait for child player GUI. Now we're taking the screen GUI and we're assigning it to the player GUI. And now if we test the game, we should see a loading screen. Yep, we see the loading screen. Nice. Now let's actually animate the bar and the text. How you would do this is you would put a while true loop. While true do. But of course, this is gonna run forever, and it's gonna keep running until the while true loop stops, which a while true loop doesn't ever stop, so it's gonna keep running forever, and nothing after this while true is gonna run. So instead of that, we're gonna spawn in a function. This is basically like making a function that runs in a new thread. Basically makes a new thread, and everything in that new thread is gonna start running, and everything else is gonna keep running. Basically, it's a way to make a while true loop run while letting other things run in the background. So we're gonna do spawn function, and here we're gonna do while true do. Okay, and now in this while true loop, we can do anything we want. So we saw that we wanted to make the blue bar move from side to side. So we're gonna do tween create blue bar tween info dot new. So first number in this tween info is how long the animation takes. So let's say we want the blue bar to move from left to right in 1 second. So it's gonna take 1 second for the blue bar to move. Then we put a comma, and we're gonna choose the easing style. Enum.easing style dot. I like to use squint because it's gonna look good in this situation. You can look at the other styles. As you can see, there's a lot of different styles, and I think there's like a website or something, a page in Roblox that shows you the different easing styles. Anyways, mess around with this thing. I'll keep it at quint. And then you would want to probably use enum.easing direction dot out. And there's 3 more parameters, but they're not necessary. Yeah. So then we go right here, put a comma, and here we're going to put curly braces. And now we're gonna put in here anything that we want to change. For example, we can make position equals to blah 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 blah. Then we do something like that. Then we do color equals to blah 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 blah. And then I think that's how you would change stuff like that in a table. But we only need to change one parameter, which is the position. So we're gonna do position equals to udem position. I typed poison. Position equals to udem 2 dot new. We're gonna make the scale. The size was like. It was 0.3, so I'm gonna move it to 0.7, 0, what is it? Where? Yeah, 0, 0. Okay, so it's gonna. So you've created this tween right here. This long string, or this long line is a tween. It's gonna animate the position. It's gonna basically change the position of the bar very smoothly. We've created this tween, but it's not gonna play because we need to do :play and then parentheses. Now when we play the game, the bar's gonna move. It's gonna move to the right. I'll change it to this number to 0.5. So it moves in 0.5 seconds. Then we're gonna wait 0.5 or whatever this number was. So copy this number from here and paste it into this wait thing. So it's gonna wait for the tween to finish. Then we're gonna tween it back again. So, copy and paste this, and now just change the value to whatever it was before. Yeah, okay. And then we're gonna wait 0.5 again. Again, it's the same number as this. And there we go. Let's test this. The bar should be moving from left to right. And as you can see, that's really fast. I'm gonna change the number to 1 again. Actually, it's probably easier to make a variable called local bar animation length equals to 1. Copy this variable name and replace all of these numbers with that variable. That means instead of manually putting in all of those numbers, you can control the length of the animation by changing this one number. Alright, so actually, what am I doing? I think you guys can't really see my script. I always forget to do that. How do I... Is it... Yeah, there. Sorry, I forgot. Here's the script, if you couldn't see it before. Right here. Hopefully you got that. Sorry. Now... yeah, like that. Should be good. Yeah, I have a pretty large monitor. That's why it's really small. Now we want to animate the text. So we're going to spawn in another function. Spawn function. Oops. Spawn function. While true, do. Then text label dot text equals dot text capital T equals to loading. Also, we're gonna do local text animation length equals to 0.5. Okay. Then we're gonna do wait text animation length. Now you can copy this like a couple of times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're gonna change the text like this. Now as you can see, it's gonna say loading, then loading dot, then loading dot dot, then loading dot dot dot. Let's test that. Okay, so the text is working and the bar is going all at the same time. Okay, so that's it, pretty much. But now we want it to go away once the game loads. Yeah. So we would do like wait, and then like how much seconds do you want the screen to stay for. So let's say you want the screen to stay for 5 seconds, and we'll fix this later. We'll make it into repeat wait until game is loaded. So you only need this line right here, and now it's gonna wait until the game is loaded. But for testing purposes, we're gonna put a wait 5. Okay, so it's gonna wait until the game loaded. Then we're gonna need to smoothly exit out of the loading screen. So now we're gonna do for I in pairs screen GUI yet children. So now we're gonna loop through all of the children inside of the screen GUI. So yeah. And yeah, I think we can, yeah. Actually, yeah, we're gonna spawn a new thread, cause so they simultaneously decrease in yeah. So to fade out of the loading screen, we're gonna smoothly make the background transparency to 1. We're gonna do v.background transparency equals to 1. Now this is only gonna work if all of your if everything inside of screen GUI is a frame or a text label or a text box. If you have like a script inside of screen GUI, that's not gonna work. But in our case, we only have frames and text labels, so this is gonna work. So we're gonna actually this is gonna make it not smooth. So instead of that, we're gonna do tween create v tween info dot new. Let's make it like 1 second. Actually, make a new variable called fade length equals to 1. We're gonna make it fade length right here, and then tween info dot new. Wait, oops, don't do that. What am I doing? Okay, then enum dot using style dot linear. Actually, quint is also fine. And enum dot using direction dot out. Okay, then we're gonna put a comma, put curly brackets, and we're gonna do background transparency equals to 1, and then we're gonna do :play. Okay, and then we're gonna do after this wait fade length, and then screen GUI destroy and script script destroy. There. This should play the animations for however much seconds we put here, and then it's gonna fade everything out and it's gonna destroy itself. So let's test it out. So the loading screen appears. It waits for like 5 seconds, and then it fades out and destroys itself. Now we need to put this thing right here. If v is a text, wait, why didn't it? Oh wait, yeah, okay. If it's a text label, then we're going to do the same thing, except we're gonna fade out the text transparency. There. Yeah. Also, we forgot to do one thing. We need to do this right here. Go in front of this thing and do game remove default loading screen or something. I think that's not gonna work. Roblox remove default loading screen. Replicate it first. Okay, so let's replicate it first. So instead of this, we're gonna do game get service replicated first, and then colon remove default loading screen. Okay. Now save everything, and our loading screen is finished. So now it's going to wait for 5 seconds, and then it's okay. So that didn't work. Oh yeah, because you need to do instead of over here, instead of get children, you need to do get descendants. Okay, now it's gonna work. So now, you can, let's just test it one more time to see if it actually works. So it appears and the text should load, or I mean should fade out. Okay, great. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now you can remove this wait, and only keep the repeat wait until. So you only need this line. If you have a huge game that takes a really long time to load, it's going to the loading screen is gonna play until the game loads. But if you have a small base plate that doesn't have much in it, you might not even see the loading screen because the game loads really fast. So if you want like a little bit of delay, go after this line and do wait like 3 seconds or however much you want. That's gonna make your loading screen appear. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, how about if you want to animate something else? What if I didn't cover, what if you wanted like a spinny thing that spins like other things? Well, basically you would find an image of that spinny thing, you would put it inside of this, and you would spawn in another function and do while true image dot rotation, or do frames have orientation? Do they? I don't think they do. Actually, I'm afraid. Yeah, I don't think they're. I don't think images and stuff have orientations. Let's quickly check. Image label. Let's see if it has orientation. Or rotation. Okay, so it does have rotation. That's cool. Basically, you're gonna do while true image.rotation equals image.rotation plus like 0.1. And then you're gonna, after that, you're gonna do wait like 0.1 seconds. Actually, you're gonna wait like less than that. Anyways, yeah, that's how you do that. If you couldn't find how to animate something that you wanted to animate, you can always join my Discord server. I'll put the link to it in the description. And I'll be able to help you out like that. Although there's like only one member in that server, which is me, as of right now. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped you, and bye.